Hello, everyone. Let's talk about El Camino. Now, before I get into the real meat of this video, let me just say this is incredibly simple, straightforward, yet it's also very emotionally packed and incredible, too. For those of you not familiar, years ago, Breaking Bad ended and the finale was pretty great. Although the one thing people kept focusing on, people kept questioning was what happened to Jesse Pinkman? Last we saw him, he was able to finally escape his captors after Walter White killed them all, and he was drove off in an El Camino. And watching this film, you can tell that Vince Gillen was really getting bugged by the fact that he sort of let Jesse go like that and felt like he needed to really give him a proper end to his character arc. Now, the real meat of this video is that I want to point out that in several respects, this is sort of like the anti Endgame, while also being like Avengers Endgame in a few ways. First of all, Avengers Endgame and El Camino both serve as final chapters in their respective sagas Infinity Saga and the Breaking Bad story. Now, of course, with Avengers Endgame, there's still going to be more movies to come out that take place after the events of Endgame. Well, El Camino, it's safe to say that it'll probably be like the final chapter of the Breaking Bad story. I mean, even in the spin-off show focused on Saul Goodman, it's really more focused on his prequel origin story rather than actually showing what happened to him after the events of Breaking Bad. Aside from a few flash forwards. Now, both of these stories, they really bring emotional closure to a lot of stories and characters. With Avengers Endgame, this is of course the core Avengers team. With El Camino, it's with Jesse Pinkman, a character that was originally meant to be killed off in the first season, but proved to be so popular that he became the only other person that could rival Walter White in popularity and importance. And make note, and don't get this wrong, Walter White is still an incredibly important part of the Breaking Bad story. He's still the most important part. Both El Camino, this is Jesse Pinkman's story. It's focused on him alone, giving him the closure he needed. And that can be said for Endgame too. With Endgame, it was about all of these different characters, but it was always focused on a couple of characters for actual closure, mainly Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. Now you might be wondering, well, what's the anti part? Well, Avengers Endgame, it's a big and epic film in a very literal sense. The scope is big, it has all of these characters, the action is big and grand, and the stakes are something they've never really dealt with before. With El Camino, it is big and epic, but in different ways. First of all, like Breaking Bad, it's really more of a quiet story in a lot of ways. There is no big gun action, no big explosions happening every second. It is really more character driven. And while there are some very good character moments of Endgame, that's pretty much what El Camino is supposed to be like character development coming to an end, giving closure, finding peace. And it does it in a pretty minimalistic way, especially compared to something as big and epic as Endgame. And with Endgame, it's of course left open to a lot of future stories while giving some ends to a couple characters where it's really like the best possible ending for them. Of course, some of those endings may still be up for debate for what they actually mean, but that gives some sort of sense of closure and end. El Camino, it is very much an end, but at the same time, we're still always going to hypothetically wonder just what he's doing now. But unlike with the Breaking Bad final episode with El Camino, we actually do feel some closure. I want to still watch Jesse Pinkman in doing what he's now, whatever he's going to do now after El Camino's end. So basically, what I'm saying is like Avengers Endgame and El Camino, once you start to think about it, do share a lot of similarities. But El Camino accomplishes what Endgame was trying to accomplish, but in a very different approach that fits its narrative and tone. It is kind of interesting to watch the two side by side. Those are just my thoughts. I really loved El Camino. That's all I have for right now. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys next time.